shave the tears. God shave the tears. God shave the tears. God shave the tears. All right.
These days, the young are used to having plenty of choices and are actually vital members of society. Nothing wrong with that, of course, but they've got used to being important. Back in the 1950s, it wasn't like that. The young weren't seen as a target market, and what was a teenager? Nobody had a clue. Teenagers didn't exist back then. The kids were expected to leave school, get a job, get married, and have kids themselves. And you can't blame the parents for thinking like that. After all, they'd not long seen off Adolf Hitler, and they were looking forward to some peace and quiet and a bit of respect. What they didn't bargain for was a load of noisy kids making a nuisance of themselves. And that's what a fair few of them got. Welcome to Here Come the Teds, and some of the first post-war teenagers to stand up and be counted, and who made sure that Britain would never quite be the same again. A typical British household in the 1950s didn't have too much going on, and although the war ended in 1945, some everyday items were still rationed. But homes were peaceful, neat and tidy, and although there wasn't a lot of money about, families made the best of what they'd got. Change was just round the corner. For example, British consumers were about to say hello to the washing machine, the electric fire and the telephone. And before long, there'd be 3 million cars on the road.
I think the 50s was actually the beginnings of a real break from people being confined by the establishment.
Life in the 50s, to me, I felt was stricter
than
what it is now, because I was never allowed out late, and I used to go from school straight into a job at 15, and that's when I met my husband-to-be. So he used to come in the shop where I worked.
Young people were really pretty bored and fed up and a bit disenchanted with the status quo and the way things had been in the past. And whilst we're all ready to sort of say rule Britannia and all that sort of thing during the war periods and so on, we were getting to the stage where we thought, no, we want something else.
It wasn't until around 1952, 1953 that working class teenagers suddenly started to say, we need something different. We need something which actually is going to be for us. And we want to get away from this drab image that, you know, the D-mob suits and everything else that had happened at the time, and we want to create something for ourselves.
Well, it was after the war, so there was nothing else. Teenagers had to be seen and not heard. But we was heard all right. Nobody else could touch us, yeah.
Soon, British homes would be invaded by the one item that would completely change the routine and rhythm of family life. It was called the television set, and it would soon become a window to a new and fast-changing world.
I was 8 years old when I actually moved from Leigh-on-Sea to Chingford, and we never had I used to go around the neighbours and see the odd programme, Lassie or something like that. And that's when we first had a telly, and it's the first time we had a telephone as well, because there was only one channel, wasn't it? BBC One, and then BBC Two came in probably around that time.
In the early days, you started to get television programmes like 6-5 Special and the like, where they put the stuff on for the benefit of young people once a week. and this gave the opportunity for groups to be seen. And when people were able to see somebody with a certain style on, they thought, well, that's for me, I want that.
It was all very new and exciting, and there was a hopeful and expectant mood all over the country. The kids wanted to throw off the shackles and put hardship and rationing firmly in the past. They wanted to look great, feel good, and have some fun. With any self-respecting movement, it's usually the look that comes first. And those early teenagers in the 50s certainly had a look. They turned up wearing draped jackets, drainpipe trousers and crepe-soled shoes. The blokes had slick back hair styled into a DA, short for duck's arse. Charming. And the press called them Teddy Boys.
But teenagers just having a revolution. It was, the fashion came in, and the only Teddy Boys in the world was British because we were named after King Edward. And wore what we call a gear light.
I used to go to Swindon to my sisters down there, and I met these Teds down there and all that, and they had their hair up, and I thought, well, that looks brilliant. They said to me, you got curly hair, because I had very curly hair. You ought to get your hair done up and, you know, be a Ted, like, you know. So on the way home, I thought, well, that's it, I'm going to be a Teddy Boy.
I've been Ted since I was, well, getting into it since I was 13, but been Ted since the age of 15.
Yeah, I've been in it about 40 years now, so long time.
Seeing the Teds and that, and their most important thing was their comb, doing their hair, of course. You know, that was really important. Always have a comb with you.
The Teddy Boys were adopting a pretty daring look at the time. Their uniform of narrow trousers, long draped jackets and clumpy shoes were all deemed anti-establishment and quite shocking in the 50s.
Some of the Teddy Boy stuff was a bit outrageous, and because of the social change which was only just beginning to happen, there weren't too many people who were brave enough to actually go the whole hog with Teddy Boy. So a lot of us couldn't really go home with a full-blown Teddy Boy suit on because the parents would go totally ballistic. And whilst we were having our revolution, we'd only got so far with it at the moment, and it was going to take a few more years before the younger generations were going to be able to actually assert themselves more.
It actually started probably in the mid-40s,
Yeah.
some of the style, the spiv look, and then it got taken over by the Teds and they got their own, made their own
Started
thing
adding
out
the
of it.
velvet to their collars
Yeah,
and their
so,
cuffs.
And a lot of them had their own design type
That's
thing.
right.
You go, you know what I mean, like, you know, some people like velvet, some people
Some
like,
had a little tiny belt at the back, stitched in the back and the back of their drape. There's always a full piece of material in the back of your drape, so it hung well.
I didn't go right down to below the knees because that was more than I dared try and get away with. But I did start wearing drainpipe trousers, which was the biggest single part of the fashion actually, because you weren't always walking around with jackets on, but you always walked around with your trousers on. So drainpipe trousers was the in thing. Shoes also, you had to start off carefully, and maybe after about 6 months you might dare to go out and get what we call brothel creepers, in other words these great fat shoes.
I couldn't afford years because I was one on much money. So I bought a pair of drain pipes and a drape on its own, not a drape suit. So then I went on to, of course, as I got older and got a decent job, I went on to getting a proper drain tailor-made one, which is nice.
Before that school, I had a part-time job in the greenhouses and that, so you couldn't wait till you get the money and you get your jeans and take them in or whatever, and then like drape suit, not pay that like £5 a week. The blokes come round your house and collect the money.
Mine was 10 Guinness, my first Teddy Boy suit. Yeah, made a measure 2-piece that was, and that was I was on then £4 a week. 48-hour week I used to work. So I borrowed it off a mother. She'd pay for it.
But just as important as the sharp threads was the hair. The hair was a work of art, and no self-respecting Ted would leave the house without getting it right.
Literally, I pull the front down, middle part in, and I curl both sides round either side. I'll blend both sides in, then I'll curl round this front end, and once I've done that, I'll do the back and do a DA. That's it.
I happen to be somebody with the blue eyes and the fine blonde hair. I couldn't grow sideburns at all. So I was stuck there, you know. Also, I had very fine hair. The only way you could get a quiff was to slap masses of grease on, and literally it became rock solid, you know. A lot of people who had wiry hair didn't have the same problems.
Years ago it was hair cream or something like that.
Brill cream.
Brill cream, yeah.
Black and white.
Yeah, black and white. A lot of some of them use today. I use that sometimes, but also hair lacquer. Of course, with brill cream it comes out, so you're forever combing your hair. You know what I mean?
That's how come a Ted.
That's how come a Ted's got to have a
comb with them.
So yeah, it's brilliant. That's it.
I can remember using sugar water. Used to get
Some people use
like
butter actually.
yeah, yeah. Well, you know the little insecticide sprays, one of those, and then put sugar water in it, and then you little sugar water, and nothing would let that fall out. I mean, I did a bungee jump once, and I came off and everyone was clapping. Way! I thought, what are they clapping at? I said, your hair's still in place.
Ask people nowadays what Teddy Boys mean to them, and along with the draped coats, the quiffs and the brothel creepers, probably most will say rock and roll music. And of course the 50s was the era of that new phenomena, rock and roll, led by the likes of Little Richard, Jerry Lee Lewis, Bill Haley and Elvis Presley, who happened to be playing the perfect soundtrack to the Teddy Boy lifestyle.
The American music came in, and then it was later on, 55, 56, that the English rock and roll came up. Yeah. But yeah, it was all different. It was a revolution.
At the time, it was like Bill Haley and the Comets, Rock Around the Clock was a big influence, and everyone was like got into the dancing and the Teds were all dressed up. And like that's where even at school you could hear the music, and a bit later obviously Elvis. Like, but so that was it. It's been that ever since.
I got Peg into rock and roll and she liked it. We've always, both of us liked it.
I liked rock and roll when you
Yeah.
first met me, but
Yeah.
the rest of it, the dress and that, I never got into so much until I met him.
Yeah. I used to play the old record player and all that in the bedroom. And have the old 45s.
Because that's where
Brilliant,
you hear the
brilliant.
music from, in your record player, in
Yeah,
your room, and
yeah.
on your record player and that.
You can't beat it.
45s, the 78s and the LPs. I can remember as a kid going around all the junk shops trying to find gems, and you more or less knew in your mind what labels you were looking for, and you flick through the old 45s and pull out a gem and couldn't wait to get home, put it on the turntable and play it.